Hello everyone. Today we learn about writing an essay. So an essay is something that you usually see in different examinations, especially if it's a subjective exam and there's a section of essay writing. So an essay comes with a structure, and in this video we'll see how to organize the essay into the said structure. We'll divide the essay into three main parts and then we learn about how to write these parts so that overall your written piece is cohesive and makes sense to the grader or the reader. So let's begin. The essay usually is divided into three parts. The three main parts of the essay are introductory paragraph, its body paragraphs, and the conclusion. So the main thing that you need to keep in mind while beginning with an essay is to separate these three parts with some kind of space or indentation. So make sure not to write down your entire essay in a single block of text or a single chunk, because that way it won't look structured and you will have your score deducted for the same. So the first thing to keep in mind is to separate these three parts with some space. Now, let's see what an introductory paragraph is about. So, it is the first paragraph of your essay and it presents your thesis or topic. It gives the reader the central idea of the essay. It leads them to understand what they're going to read about. And it is supposed to be very brief, and it's further divided into three parts about which we learn in the successive slides. After your introductory paragraph, we see body paragraphs. So the body paragraphs could be two, three, four, depending on the word count or the topic of your essay. So body paragraphs are also separated, and body paragraphs actually explain the thesis which you gave in the introductory paragraph. So the body paragraphs must relate directly to the topic statement in your introduction. And what they do is they provide more supporting details to the main argument your essay is about. They give examples, they give supporting details, they give arguments or counter arguments. So they actually are the backbone of your essay. So make sure to write at least 2 to 3 body paragraphs when you're writing your essay. After you're done with your body paragraphs, we come to the last paragraph of your essay, or what we call the conclusion. So the conclusion must restate the thesis, and it should effectively summarize the main points of your body paragraph, or it should wrap up your entire essay and tie it up in a way that the essay should look complete. And it, just like introduction, it is also supposed to be brief. So here you go. These are the three parts, and now we'll learn how to further elaborate these three parts and how to write these three parts in a way that your essay looks perfect to the reader or the grader. So let's begin by learning how to write a good introductory paragraph. Like I mentioned before, this is the first paragraph of your essay. So it's in a way prepares your reader for your paper. And since this is the first paragraph of your writing, it makes the first impression, and it also sets the stage for the rest of your work, and it sets the reader's expectations. So it is a way, introduction is a way for you to engage and captivate your reader. And basically, an interesting and thought-provoking introduction makes your reader excited and makes him want to keep reading on. So for you to be able to do that, what we have done is we have divided the introduction into three critical points. And these critical points are a good opening sentence, a broader context, and a thesis. So in this video, we'll go through each of these points and see how you are supposed to write these points. So in an overall manner, it makes up for an interesting introductory paragraph. So we'll start with the first critical point, which is your good opening sentence. We also call it as a hook, and it is what the name suggests. It's a hook which is supposed to capture the reader's attention. And in order to do so, you have to make sure that your first sentence or the first few sentences are clear, they're concise, and they're interesting, because it is it is the main thing that will guide the reader into your essay, and it will give a sense of what your essay is about and why is it important. So make sure when you write the first sentence, your hook, or the first few sentences, make sure to avoid any dense or complicated sentence structure, and also not make any broad claims or general statements. So what exactly should you write in an opening sentence? There are a few examples which you can use to write a good opening sentence, and we'll see those in the slide. They are listed here. So, first one is your rhetorical question. Now, rhetorical question is a compelling way to start your essay, because you can pose a question as a mystery and give its answer only towards the end. It makes your reader curious to keep reading on, in case if the question aligns with what his thought process is, and even if it's against what he thinks, it still makes him want to read your essay. So in the slide, you can see that if the topic of the essay is use of AI in the workspace, you can maybe begin your opening sentence of the introductory paragraph with the line, is it ethical to use AI in the workspace? And then further build upon it. So this is the example of a rhetorical question that can be used as an opening sentence. Now the second example for an opening sentence is using a fact or statistic. So you can maybe sometimes use a shocking statistic that might want the reader to keep reading on, because it can make him curious about the topic, or it can confirm something that he already knows, and maybe he wants to know more about the topic. So this could be a way to open an essay which revolves around maybe a social issue or current events or even a scientific subject. Then I'll say that statistic is a good way to open your introductory paragraph. Here you can see the example for the same. So here for the same topic as above, they have used an example of how an AI automated tracking system can reject up to 75% of resumes before a person goes through them. And this can be a way to open your essay and then further write upon and build upon whatever you have mentioned here. So this is one way. Now there's the third way to write an opening sentence is using a quote, which I think most of you must have done at one point or the other. We can use a quote because quotes are usually succinct, and since they come from a historical figure or an expert source, they are a good way for you to write about your essay, and it makes your essay look more relevant. So here also in the example, we have given a quote related to the topic, which is use of AI in workspace, and you can start your essay with this quote and then further build upon it. The fourth example is of using an anecdote. Now, anecdote is a short personal story which can be relevant to whatever you are writing. And usually we use this method only when you're writing a narrative essay or a personal essay. So this can be a way to make the essay look more relatable or more give a familiar touch to the reader. So here also you can see, suppose if the topic is about saving the environment from pollution or saving the trees, anything which is related to environment, then maybe you can begin your essay or begin your essay with the opening sentence of how grew up in a place which was surrounded by greenery, and how that makes you want to take care for the planet and the environment. So you can start your essay with a personal story, and then further you can add more details and more examples to your essay piece. Now, the fifth example to write your opening sentence is using description technique. So, description is a way to paint an image by using your words. One example is, suppose if the topic is again same about saving the environment, then maybe you can begin your essay with an opening line, or by painting a picture of how bleak earth will look like if there won't be any trees. So this can be an interesting way to start your essay and then further build upon it. So these are the few examples of how you can use different devices as hooks or good opening sentences for your introductory paragraph. And after that you can the next part that comes after the good opening sentence is writing background context, which we'll see in the next slide. Now let's look at the background for context that we write in the introductory paragraph. So this is the portion of the text that you write after the hook of your essay, and it gives the reader the context of what your essay is about. So if your essay is suppose about a historical topic, then maybe you can establish the time period in the introductory paragraph. If it is about a country, then you can also give the geographical location. So you have to make sure that you do not give too much information, since your introduction is supposed to be brief. And in case if you're writing about a topic that requires a lot of extensive detail, then maybe keep those details for later on or for the body paragraphs, and dedicate a few body paragraphs to those details, but try to keep your introduction short. And for a good background for context, we have listed out a few examples depending on the type of essay. So uh, depending on the type of essay, your background context in the introductory paragraph can either be historical or geographical, or it can also be a social context. If you're writing about a debate, if you're summarizing or giving an argumentative essay, writing an argumentative essay about a debate, then you can, in the introductory paragraph, outline the debate you are actually addressing. So that can be a background for context. And suppose if you're writing about a scientific topic, then maybe in the background for context, you can include a summary of the relevant theories related to that topic, or some evidence, some research details about the topic. And if it is something that suppose it's a topic related to business, so it can involve a lot of jargons which not everybody will understand, then maybe you can explain a few of the important key terms in the background for context, the key terms that will play a significant role in your essay. So you can include these points as your background for context in the introductory paragraph. The third critical point after your opening sentence, background for context, is your thesis. So, the thesis is the main sentence that clearly and concisely explains the main argument of your essay. It is the central idea of your essay, and it tells the reader what exactly are you going to write about. It can be a sentence or too long, and it explains the main crux or your point of view of your essay. So, it is supposed to be clear, concise, specific, and most importantly, it's supposed to be relevant to your essay question. And a good example of a good thesis sentence is here you can see in this example in this slide. So this is the essay question: critically discuss how the personality of a leader might affect employee turnover. Here you can see this, a quote is used as an opening sentence for your introductory paragraph. The second part, which is highlighted in blue, is your thesis. You can read it. You can pause the video and read it. And this portion in gray is your background info. So this is how you are supposed to write an introductory paragraph. It can be bigger than this paragraph. It's just an example, but you have to make sure that these three critical points are present. There should be an opening sentence, there should be a thesis, and there must be some background info. So this is how you write a good introductory paragraph. So in the previous slides, we learned how to write a good introductory paragraph, and now we'll move on to the second part of an essay, which is the body paragraph. So a body paragraph uses effective details and examples to sustain the main topic of your essay, which you already mentioned in your introduction. And body paragraphs can either be 2 or 3 or even more, depending on the word count limit or the topic of your essay. So it is basically the paragraphs that give evidence, support, details, examples to sustain the topic you are writing about. So in case if your essay is an argumentative essay, then you can either write points in favor of the topic or against the topic. And if it's an informative or narrative essay, then you can simply clarify your ideas or points in the body paragraph. So the key to writing a good body paragraph follows certain steps, and we have mentioned or listed these steps here. So let's begin with the first step, which is writing a topic sentence. So, just like in the introduction, you saw that we began the introduction with an opening sentence. Body paragraphs also begin with a topic sentence. So, each body paragraph has its own separate topic sentence, which is the first sentence of the paragraph that you write when you write a body paragraph, and it introduces the reader to what the paragraph is about. So, a topic sentence can just be a single sentence or one or more sentences, and it is then followed by supporting sentences, which you write after the topic sentence, and they are the main sentences that develop and support the topic sentences as assertion with evidence, logic, example, persuasive opinion, or even expert testimonial. So, your supporting sentences form the backbone of your body paragraph. The topic sentence of the paragraph tells the reader what this paragraph is about, and the supporting sentences are then followed by the concluding sentence. So these are the closing sentences of the paragraph that provides closure to the main idea of the paragraph. So it concludes the paragraph in a way, but it is often followed by a transitional phrase or transitional sentences. What are these? These are actually connecting words or even sentences that are either placed at the beginning or at the end, and sometimes even both at the beginning and the end of the paragraph to connect one paragraph to the other one, so that the essay is actually a coherent and cohesive written piece. And this is done throughout the essay. So the transition also does not have to be a separate sentence. Sometimes the topic sentence and concluding statements can also do the work of the transition sentence. It depends on how you write it. And often people use transitional words or phrases when they're not able to think of a sentence or an idea at the moment. So you can, use words like furthermore, also, besides, and however in such cases. The examples are here listed in the slide, which you can see. Now we'll see an example of how to write a body paragraph. So let's have a look at this. The essay question is effects of alcohol abuse. Now you can see that this is one body paragraph amongst others, and it begins with a transitional word. So moreover here ties this paragraph to the previous one. Whatever the previous paragraph would have been, it is tied to this paragraph with this highlighted yellow transitional word. After this blue highlighted sentence is your topic sentence. So your topic sentence tells the reader that alcohol abuse affects each individual differently based on the individual health condition. Now you will see, you can pause the video and you can read the body paragraph. You will see the entire body paragraph revolves around this topic sentence, and it gives more details, explanation, ideas, points about the topic sentence. And these points are covered in this gray portion, which is your supporting sentences. And once your supporting sentences end, the paragraph is wrapped up or closed by this concluding sentence, which is highlighted here in the green color. So you can pause this video for a moment and you can see the different parts of the body paragraph that we just studied in the previous slide. So we completed how to write a body paragraph, and now we'll move on to the conclusion part of an essay. Conclusion is a separate paragraph, and you write it towards the end of the essay, and it is supposed to tie together the entire essay and force the reader to think about the written piece. So it usually follows a few points which we'll read about. The first one is restating your thesis. So you introduced your main topic or your central idea in the introduction. You also have to restate it by paraphrasing it in the concluding paragraph, and you can do it by reiterating the central topic of the essay and then briefly restating your supporting points that you mentioned in the body paragraphs. You do not have to write an entire summary. You can just briefly paraphrase some key points or important points that make up the major or significant portion of your essay. So you begin your conclusion by often restating your thesis. You can then add your opinion to it. So if it's an argumentative essay, then after restating your thesis and summarizing your main key pointers, you can maybe add your own opinion to it, so that it makes a significant impact, and make sure that your opinion is relevant to your written piece, and it summarizes your main argument. And after that, you can conclude the paragraph by writing the final sentence, or what we also call a clincher. And it should be a sentence that should either end on a positive or an insightful note, which can, which will make the reader feel glad that the radio essay, or it can make them feel that they learned something new from it. So this is how you conclude an essay. And while writing your conclusion, also make sure that you avoid phrases like in summary, in conclusion, or to sum up, because the reader already knows that he or she is at the last paragraph. So this is the conclusion, and these phrases are actually signposts, and you do not usually need to write them. And you can just write a good concluding statement, like by adding your opinion, or by writing a good final clincher, maybe an idea to ponder upon that could be relevant to your entire essay. But try avoiding introducing brand new ideas. You can just restate an idea that you may have mentioned in the essay, in the body paragraphs, but try to avoid any new or idea or evidence in the concluding paragraph, because then that makes your essay incomplete, because you've just stated an idea but haven't provided any evidence or details for it. So avoid using phrases like in summary, in conclusion, and avoid introducing brand new ideas when you're writing your conclusion. In the next slide, you can see a sample of an essay and how you're supposed to organize it. So you can see that the first paragraph here is the intro. The two paragraphs following that paragraph are your body paragraphs, and the last one is your conclusion. You can pause this video for a minute and you can go through it once and see how you're supposed to structure your essay so that it is cohesive and makes sense to the reader. So I hope this video gave you an insight into essay writing. And in the next video, we can look at different types of essays and how each essay is supposed to be written. So stay tuned for that, and let's meet in another class. So thank you, take care, and please like and subscribe to Wisea. Thank you.